Today we are going to build a crazy algorithm, but first we're going to check to see if it's profitable. So I'm going to do this step by step with you so you can see the entire process of how to automate your trading. So step one is to come up with the strategy. Step two is to test to see if that strategy worked in the past. If it worked in the past, it might work in the future. It's not guaranteed. A lot of people will say, hey, look at my backtest. It's super profitable. But if it doesn't work in the future, the backtest doesn't mean anything. You can overfit backtests, meaning you can tweak backtests until they look good. Pretty much any backtest. Maybe you'll see that throughout this video. After you find a profitable backtest, we have to test it live or in a simulation account. I tend to do just live, but with small amounts that I don't care about. So I'm okay with losing. And the reason I like this is because then I get to really test the bids, the asks, and see like the actual liquidity and see if it can fill and whatnot. But it doesn't matter. If you have a simulation account or testnet, that's fine as well. Process is simple though. Step one, find strategy. Step two, write strategy. Step three, backtest strategy. Step four, forward test strategy. Live or sim. Step five, run strat, live, and keep scaling if working. That's it. That's how you automate your trading. Super simple. It's super simple. Okay, so what strategy do we want to use today? Well, I've been just kind of looking at things. I have a big whiteboard of strategies, but today I want to focus on these points of time that you see these large spikes in volume. So let's go ahead and scroll out here and make this as big as possible. I'm looking at Ethereum right now. By the way, my name is Moondev. I'm a fully algorithmic trader, so I trade 24/7, 365. Well, my bots do. And I don't touch them, which is really nice. I just code and they trade for me. Trade based off of my rules, my systems, my strategies. I use a little bit of AI. Anyways, enough about me. I believe code's a great equalizer. That's why I share this information. I know I'm not supposed to share this information. Other quants get mad at me, yada, yada, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep coding. I've got crazy goals. And I thought, hey, why not just share this journey with you? Because I'm going to get there to where I'm trying to get to. And why not bring you along? Share everything I can. So I truly believe code is a great equalizer. That's why I share all this. So let's go ahead and first talk about the strategy. So I'm looking at the 5-minute chart on Ethereum. And from what I see here, there are only a few times we're going to trade. We're going to look for these volume spikes. So let's go ahead and look at them. So here's a volume spike, just abnormal volume. You can see. Here's a volume spike, abnormal volume, you can see. Here's a bit of a volume spike. I don't know if I'd take that one. Here's definitely a volume spike. Here's another volume spike. Here's another volume spike. And here's another volume spike. So we're going to focus on those areas to trade. My thought process is those areas are where price is irrational. Focus on volume spikes where price is irrational. Okay? What I mean by that is when there's not a lot of volume, that means that, or in this thesis, right? This is just an idea. Doesn't mean much. We have to back test it. But my thesis is these volume spikes are because people are getting liquidated. People are market selling or buying. Yeah. So if you're market selling or buying, things are irrational. People are probably not thinking clearly. And I think price is irrational here. That's my idea. Okay. So that's step one. Let's come up with the idea. Do we still have our steps somewhere here? Be helpful to have. Where'd they go? I don't know. Oh, there they are. Okay, so process to automate. Process to automate trading. Is that? Our strategy is this. Let's make this a little smaller. Our strat. Perfect. Okay, so you can see this is the process to automate trading. This is our strategy. Focus on volume spikes where price is irrational. Okay. What else do we want to do with this? When price, I'm going to say 2. When the last 5-minute bar is 3x volume, I might want to say like 5x volume. I don't know yet. I don't know what this volume is. So I'm going to say 3 to 10x. It's hard to tell. You can see like these bars, these light gray bars are volume. And how much volume is this is the question. These big spikes. Is that 5x, 3x, 10x? I'm going to try to identify what happened on the 23rd. Sorry, it's the 1st, the 29th, and the 6th. So we're going to say identify vol on the 1st, 6th, and 23rd to determine. I want to see how much bigger those spikes are because I don't know what the scale is here. Is this like this bar right here? Is that a 10x regular volume or what? And what are we going to do here? We're going to buy the demand zone. $15-minute minimum, but we'll market buy. I don't want to say market buy. I'm trying to think this through because essentially I think we just back test the idea with market buy. We'll figure out where to place our order, but buy the demand zone or on 15-minute or the current price. Because it might be lower than the demand zone already. So this huge bar brought it all the way down here. Here, it's actually going upwards, but this is going to be a buy only. Long only strategy, long only strat. Because from this, I don't see any reason to short. And from just this like quick little not back test, but eyeball test. So I don't see any reason to short here. Okay, so I think this is the strategy. So we're gonna go here and we'll go into my code here. And I know this might be intimidating to some, but don't worry about it. If you don't know how to code, I didn't know how to code either. Let's say SDZ capitulation .py, because I feel like this is kind of a capitulation trade. Oh man, let's get back to these notes real quick. Put them over here so we can see them, because this is going to be my guide as well for the rest of this. Where did they go though? Way up there? Why you fly all the way up there, dog? Okay. Let's go ahead and copy both of these into the code, because I think they're both going to be helpful to keep in mind. This is the way we're going to test this. So just to go over it one more time, we're going to find the strategy. I can say done. Then we write the strategy. Okay, we're also done with that. And then we backtest the strategy. So we have to code this. Work in progress. So we need to then code this backtest. So how do we code a backtest? Well, it's not too hard. We can go ahead and use one of our old templates here. Let's go ahead and see. It's probably a good backtest open to the side. So to build a backtest, pretty simple. Well, I've been doing this a lot. So we're going to say import backtesting. We're going to say from backtesting, import backtest and strategy. From backtesting .lib, import crossover, import talib, import pandas as PD, and then we'll say class. What do we want to call this? SDZ cap. Let's call it SDZ cap. Pass in the strategy. Volume change. We're gonna need to pass in. I don't know. I'm gonna put it at 3 right now, representing 300%. What other things do we need in here? 5-minute bars. Identify volume. Identify buy, the demand zone, and so on and so on. We're gonna need a definite. Pass in self here. So that is where this will actually go. The volume change. And I teach all this stuff in my bootcamp, and I'll give you all the code for this as well. And then we'll do a def next self. And then we put the actual strategy print. This is where the strategy goes. So I'll put that in there in a bit. I'm just getting all this set up, all the starter code. And then we're gonna, so we'll fill out our next statement. This essentially is where all of the strategy goes. Init is where we initialize all of the, like for example, in this one, we initialize the upper bands, the lower bands, using Bollinger Bands. And then I'm pretty sure that's it. We have to write out the strategy. If you want me to go ahead and write out the strategy, let me know below. Say backtest. Say backtest below, and I will write the rest of the strategy. Unfortunately, nature is calling, and this is one of the reasons I build trading algorithms, because if I had a trade right now that I needed to get into, I would drop the ball big time, because we're humans and we got things to do like this. And so I got to go. So I will go ahead and backtest the rest of the strategy soon. Well, let's go ahead and just give it a little more time. I'll try to push it a little bit more, but nature is calling. I'll just tell you that much. Sorry, too much information, but I gotta go. Let's go ahead and try to crush some of this though. At least get part of it done. Okay, let's go over here. And what I want to do, here's my starter code. Here is my starter code. Please fill in the rest to test this strategy below. I will explain it here. And then here is a sample of the data. Okay, we gotta get 5-minute data. So how do we get 5-minute data? Well, I have some 5-minute data right here actually. So what is this from 2022? This is 5-minute data from 2015. Let's use this one. I think this is gonna be from 2/2 to 2022 to 5. Okay, so there's like a year and a half of data. So let's give GPT some of this data from the CSV we have and will use. Okay, so we pass in the data here. Be cool if this could be bigger. That's okay. I need to pass in the strategy now. And we need to make the strategy better, honestly. Not better, but like more for AI. Okay. We will only enter on volume spikes of 500% or more. So we will only trade when the last 5-minute bar had a volume spike of more than 500%. But please make this volume spike percentage amount changeable so we can change it to 300, 200, etc., and use the optimizer that's in my sample code in order to test and find the best optimization. You don't want to do too much optimization though. Okay, and then when there is when the last 5-minute bar meets the volume conditions, and how would we define a demand zone? In a demand zone, we buy. A demand zone is between the low of the last 6 hours and the lowest low of any candle of the last 6 hours and the lowest close of those candles. If the price is already on the 15-minute candles on the 15-minute chart, well, I guess we can't even say that. Candles. If the price is already below that point, we would just mark it buy at that price. Okay, so I think that's a more in-depth strategy. Prompt. I'm gonna say 4GPT. Okay, that's our prompt. This is a long only strategy. When do we close? This is a long only strategy. Please make the stop loss and take profit changeable. Amounts start at 1% loss and 2% or 1.5% take profit, but put them into the optimizer above as well, so we can find the best one. Okay, I think that's it. And then we can add a bunch of other stuff into it. All right, so I'm gonna give it to GPT and see what they have to say. Wow. Smash the like button for me continuing on when I need to go. I gotta go ASAP. And I'm drinking some coffee, so you know what that means. Really gotta go. All right, so you can see N1, that's 72 bars. Volume spike is 500%. Stop loss is 1%. Take profit is 1.5%. Definite. So we initialize the DF. We resample, apply 6 hours. Resample the data for the past 6 hours to calculate the demand zone. Interesting. Cool. Self.demand start forward fill self.atr taylib ATR. Okay, so it's using the ATR. I didn't ask it to use the ATR, but it's cool. If volume is over volume spike, demand zone condition. Okay, this actually looks pretty chill. Curious to see if it works though. I got some Palo Santo here. If you hear the lighter, that's what it is, I promise. So you can see it's optimizing for volume spike, it's optimizing for stop loss, it's optimizing for take profit. That's cool. I would like to optimize for all of those, but that might be over optimizing. We'll see. I just want to see if the general idea works. I'll try not to optimize too much after that. So we're looking at 72 intervals for 6 hours. However, you can adjust the range in the optimizer to see what's optimal. I added an average true range function, can be useful in some strategies for stop loss and take profit calculations. Okay. That's a good idea actually. To test. Let's put a to test here. To test. ATR stop loss. I'm gonna put it to do because it makes it blue. Dude. All right, so we got to do here, and let's go ahead and just pop this code in. Why not? See if it works. I doubt it, but we can make changes. Paste. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab the data I want to use. It's this one. Copy. Path. That'd be amazing if this worked, but there's pretty much zero chance this works. Let's go. I want before this, please walk me through. Please chunk the code. Please chunk the code up. Please rewrite the code with a note next to each line explaining how the line of code works. Like I'm 5 and don't understand it. All right, let's do that, because then we can really understand this code. And I know everybody's at a different point, so I'm doing this so we can all understand it entirely. So we're importing the necessary tools for backtesting and technical analysis. We're making a class, a blueprint for our strategy. Here we're saying that we want to look at the last 6 months of data, which is 72 5-minute bars. By default, we're looking for a 500% increase in volume. Our stop loss is set to 1%. Our default take profit is set to 1.5%. This init function sets things up before we start. We're creating a demand zone based on the lowest price and close price over the past 6 hours. So self.demand start resample 6 hours, self.data low, pd.series.min forward fill the lowest low of the past 6 hours, the lowest close of the past 6 hours. Cool. I've never used the resample before. I'm sure I have, but I just didn't have a line of code telling me about it. We're also calculating an average true range. It's a measure of volatility, but it's optional. I like it. The next function tells us what to do with each piece of data. So this runs once, I believe, and then this runs on every bar. We check if the latest volume is a lot bigger than the one before it. So self of volume in the last one, is it way bigger? And the volume spike, so is it 5 times the last one? Nice. Then if we see the current price is inside our demand zone, because we have the volumes bigger, then we check to see if it's in the demand zone. So is the close bigger than the demand start, and is the last close smaller than the demand's end? I'm pausing here because I feel like I want to buy as well if we're not in the demand zone, if we're below it. Please update this code to also buy if we are below the demand zone, not above though. So essentially, because price might be way lower than the demand zone, for example, if it's a capitulation, this might be the demand zone, but it might already be down to here. We still want to buy in this strategy, at least. Again, these are ideas and we're backtesting them. Okay, we can achieve that by adjusting the conditional checking for buying. So self.close of -1 is, Then we see if current price is inside our demand zone or below it. So we're just changing that line. Okay, I think I can do that. Let's keep walking through this code. Here, let's just copy it over. I feel like it's a little easier to read over there. Let's go ahead here, paste it in, and then we can open this up. Thank you, ChatGPT. You're the best. Where were we? Oh, let's go ahead and put this line in there now before we forget. So we're just going to copy this, and I'll put all of this code in the bootcamp. Don't you worry. Where was that line? It's this one. Okay, so then we see if the current price is inside or our demand zone or below it. So self demand end is this. The lowest close. Yeah, that makes sense because this is the lowest close. So our demand zone starts there. I feel like these are backwards. It should say it starts here, but that doesn't matter. Maybe it's the end of the demand zone. It's just reading it the other way. If both conditions are met, we calculate our stop loss and take profit levels. So stop loss price is the close and it does the stop loss. That's nice. Finally, we would decide to buy and set up our stop loss and take profit levels. Oh, cool. So we just set up our stop loss and take profit right in there. We got to put the 15-minute or the 5-minute data back in. So I'm going to go grab that. We're going to use this. It's about 18 months of data. I have unlimited data. If you need it, the bootcamp members all get it. So I haven't even talked about my bootcamp yet, but I teach everything here because people begged me to teach this in more of a step-by-step process. And so I did. I spent some time and I put together this bootcamp, everything I wish I had when I got started, plus 7 algos, plus full support, plus calls with me. You get all that stuff. So this looks good. Now we're going to read in the data from our file here. And then we change the columns in order to make them capitalized columns. And then we get rid of any rows that have missing data. Then we put our commission and our slippage in, 0.6% commission. Let's go ahead, DYDX commission. Fees, sorry, I don't know why I called them commission. Well, they called it commission, that's why. So you can see DYDX, their commission is for a taker 0.05. So I put 0.05. I put 0.6 commission. It's way high. But that's in order to taker commission is 0.05, but it can be all the way down to 0.02. But this is to account for slippage as well. High commish to account for slippage. Also, if you look at like Binance fees on spot, it's 0.1%. So it's a little higher than DYDX perpetuals. $4 billion maker taker. That's a lot. Is that billion? Yeah, that's billion. You gotta trade a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. What about perpetuals? Futures. 0.027. 0.03. 0.04. So 0.04 versus 0.05. Dang, they got beat. Everybody beat. What about when you get to 25 billion? Jeez. You're not even worried about fees. I mean, I'm sure they are, but it's crazy. Okay, so remember, this is the process step by step. I'm trying to show you everything. Find the strategy. We already did that. Write the strategy. We did that. Backtest the strategy. We're doing that. And then we're going to forward test the strategy, meaning we have to build the strategy. Dang. So there's like a 3.5 here, which is a build the strategy. Code the strategy. A lot of people think you can just run a backtest live, but you can't. It's testing backwards. 3.5 is code the strategy in Python, B. Everything thus far has been in Python. This is all Python. I'll put this in the boot camp when it's done, but let's go ahead and try to run it. There's going to be errors for sure. So let's just go ahead and get this out the way. pd.series high commission. So equity final. Okay, let's go ahead and see what's going on here. I got this error when I ran the code. I got this error when running the code. Data index is not date time. This means that the data you provided does not have a date time index. What do you mean? It's right here. Convert the date time to a date time index. Here's a sample. Here is a sample of my data. Here is the error I got. Please fix it and send me back the code. All right, let's see what she do. To address the errors, we'll take the following steps. Convert the date time column to the date time index. Update the resample apply function call by passing the correct type of data. Here's how you can update your code. So let's go back here. It has everything we need. See what it changes though. I really like our notes that it gave us. So I think this is going to be super helpful for anybody that gets this code as well. Check for volume spike. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're going to change the code up on me now? Come on, dog. They're giving us a totally different code. I'm not going to use it. F you. No, not F you. I'm sorry, sweetie. You're doing great. You're doing great. Okay, let's convert the date time column here. See if this fixes it. Okay, that didn't work. Let's say here's the updated code. Here's my code. Here is my code. This is the error I'm running into. Please update the above code to fix. So it takes a PD.series. I'll Google it as well. Here is the data I'm using. Sample. All right, GPT-4, go ahead. And then let's go ahead and take this, paste it in. Let's say this is for, what's it called we're using? Backtesting.py. I'm trying to resample 5-minute open, high, low, close to 1 hour using the code below. Just a small syntax error. What's the error though? Dang, I wish they would have told us the error. It showed us the error though. Okay. Because resample function from backtesting library expects PD series or PD.dataframe or a strategy.data array, and you're passing a function PD.series.min which returns a scalar value, not a series. A potential way to fix this issue is to modify the way you're using the resample apply function. Instead of using PD.series.min, you can define a custom function to return the desired results. By defining custom min function, we're ensuring that the resample apply method gets a function that returns a PD.series. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make a new file because with notes. Because I like these notes here, just to like really understand it. Let's make a new file though and say 9999 SDZ cap.py. And here you can see this is the full code. And essentially it made this function here that did what it just explained to us. So let's paste it in here. And let's run it. Let's go ahead and see what happens next. Little error still. Okay, so this resampled data here is really killing us. Using the above code, using the code you just sent, I get this same error. So I just want to go in circles and really push GPT to see what they can do. It's still receiving an unexpected input. The core issue is how resample apply is processing the past data. The method appears to have trouble processing the internal data arrays of the strategy. Instead, let's directly convert self.data.low and self.data.close into a pandas series and use them. Okay, I like that. Try these following modifications. In the above changes before calling resample apply. Where? Oh, so we're just changing our init function here. All right. Let's run it back. Oh man. Here is my code. I get this error still. Thank you for sharing your code. Let's go ahead and I want to see what the difference is between these two pieces of code. He said it's just a simple error. So let's take the correct one here. And then let's also take the incorrect one here. And paste it right there. So what did he change? Resample apply. Changes to 1 hour. Self.data.close. Huh. So he just removed the series. If this is the right one below, he removed the PD.series from all of these. Resample, apply, low series. Close series. Let's go ahead and see what they did here. Let's try a different approach. Instead of using resample apply directly on low series and close series, we'll handle the resampling and apply the function manually using pandas functions. Okay, I like that try. I think we just did that though. Let's go ahead and run it. Oh, okay, so we got a new error. Nice. Here's my updated code. Here is my updated code. Thank you for fixing the last one. But now I have this error. Now I have this error. So in 428, or what line is this? It says 2 arguments were given. Let's go ahead and read the error while it's working on it. I love AI. So in the optimize part, oh, we're still stuck on this though. The resample. So let's see, maybe it was just a simple error. The error message type takes 1 position. It takes 1 argument, and we gave 2. Change the custom min method to, wow, I've never used this. The at thing. I feel like I used that in Flask once. But the frick does it do? Now your code, the static method decorator turns the method into a static method, which means to receive the usual self argument, and thus can be used the way you intend it. So resample, now your code resampled low. It looks fine. Should work as intended, producing the error. Additionally, look at the bottom of your code snippet. Which one? Oh, oopsies. Sorry. I left that in there. Is that the error? No, I don't think it's the error, but that'd be funny. Okay, we're getting further along. Here's my updated code. This is the error I get. So we're killing it. I mean, it looks like we figured out that one demand zone thing, or the first thing, which is awesome. So the truth of the series is ambiguous. So we have to use a different type of pandas here, I believe. It's raised when you're trying to evaluate the truthfulness of a pandas series. The Python interpreter doesn't know how to evaluate whether a series as a whole is true or false, hence the ambiguity. I can't speak or spell or read, but that should encourage you that if someone like me who's pretty slow can do this, you can do this. Okay, in this code snippet, if self.close returns a scalar, a single value, but self.demand end is a series. Yeah, that's right. You need to specify the exact self.demand series that you want to compare. Okay, so we just need to change that. You should have known that, GPT. I thought you were GPT 4. You are 4. You're 4 years old now. You gotta get that right the first time. All right. Paste that in. Run it back. Optimizing. We did it. So after this, if it looks good, we will put it into an algorithm. If you want to see the algo, say make this an algo below. Turn this into an algo, because remember the steps are this. And this is going to take a while to optimize, because it's 5-minute data for almost 2 years. So you can see it's at 0%. But I'll let this run for a minute. And you can see we found the strategy. We wrote the strategy. We're back testing the strategy now. And I'm going to let this run for as long as it takes. And now that we've back tested the strategy, if it's working, if it looks good, then I will write it into a trading algorithm. So you can see here, if I look, for example, at the muncher, this is a trading algorithm that is a ton of code, but since I've already built most of this code, I can just implement the strategy. So people ask me all the time, what is the process? Well, you find the strategy, you write the strategy, then you backtest the strategy, then you code the strategy in Python, which is, this is 2,000 lines of code, but I'm going to be able to copy paste a lot of it, because this is a lot of like exchange code that we had to build out, buying, selling, buying on the bid, selling on the ask, limit orders, market orders, kill switches. So this is a bunch of code that is pretty much my trading algorithm. I actually put it in this Dropbox here so you can have access to it all through here, this link below. And once this is done optimizing, we will, if it looks good, which it probably won't look good right off the bat, we'll have to test some other ideas. So backtest strat till you find a profitable one. So we just loop, do above 3 points until profitable strat. So that's the process. Win, prof, backtest. Move to 3.5. Let's change this to 4. Just because I get this question all the time, like, what is the full process? The entire process. 4, 5, 6. All right, so this is the A to Z process to automate your trading from zero. I think that's going to be the title of this video, because I'm giving you the full entire process here. And I don't think we're going to be able to build the algorithm here today, because Nature was calling about 30 minutes ago. So Nature is not calling anymore. It's Nature is calling the emergency station saying, Moon, get in there. Get in there. And this is taking forever to optimize. So I think I'll give it a few more minutes, but you have the whole process now. I gave you a full back test here. I'll put the back test in the Dropbox if it does well, the boot camp. Let me know in the Discord if you want to see more of this. So one cool thing about our Discord, find strategy. We have quants, unlimited quant strats in Discord. We have quant researchers that are reading papers, researching strategies all day long, turning them into the strategies. So they do this part for us. Now, this strategy was one of my strategies, but we're a team, so I don't really care where the strategy comes from. Then we backtest the strat. And actually, in the Discord, unlimited backtests too. This is the private Discord. So essentially, I do this process every single day. And this is where I spend most of my time. So I'm going to start making more videos on this part of the process because I realize this part of the process is what I've been doing a lot on YouTube because it's a lot of coding, like the code, the strategy in Python, number 4. But I've realized that a lot of people are stuck here and they don't have a strategy. They don't know how to write out the strategy. You watch me do both of those today. They don't know how to backtest the strategy. So now you know how to do these 3 parts, 1, 2, 3, and literally you could spend all of your time here because if you find a winning backtest, even if you never want to do these parts, you can partner with somebody like me or a quant in our Discord or, you know, anyone that's interested in this stuff and they can code and forward test for you. But if you know how to backtest, then you might as well do it by yourself because it's not much harder to backtest. I feel like backtesting is harder actually than writing the strategy in the algorithm. So what you saw me do thus far today, in my opinion, is harder. So from here, if you got that this far, and I try to put a ton of videos up of how to backtest because I feel like you can sit and backtest all day long and just stack up your portfolio of winning strategies. And from there, you can then move it into a live production. And yeah. Should be pretty neat. I'm just waiting on this back test. It's taking forever to optimize, but it makes sense, right? Because it's 18 months of data. I'll go ahead and show you here 1, 2, and 3. If you become part of the boot camp, which is like $1 to join or something, really cheap, you get 14 days of training videos, me showing this exact process I showed you today, but way more in depth and more of a teaching style. This is something I actually needed to build today and backtest. You get 7 full trading algorithms instantly. So like this starter code that I'm about to move this into, you get. And you also get full support. So if you ever have a question, my team of Python developers are sitting in there waiting for you to ask a question so they can answer it. So you got ChatGPT, you got Google, you have Python developers, and then you can bring any questions you have to the live event each month. You can see the bootcamp teaches all of these things, which is pretty much everything needed in order to learn how to code. So even if you don't know how to code, I teach you how to code in Python, and specifically so you can do this stuff, build out trading algorithms. Then I give you 7 full, all the code for the algorithms so you can really understand how they work. And as I said, you get expert help. So any time you have a question, just post it in the Discord. This is new, but we just started doing monthly calls. calls, which is awesome. And then you can see people are crushing it. This isn't just me. You can see a ton of members are posting good things in the Discord. People are having crazy wins. Anyways, go ahead and check all this out. And even if you don't want to join, that's fine. You can join the Discord. Click this button right here. It's free. I hope you've enjoyed this. You now have the full process from A to Z, how to automate your trading. If this backtest turns out to be good, we will move on to 4, 5, and 6. Just let me know below. Say, I want to see the algo, or I want to see the backtest results, or I want to see the next part to this video. Say one of those things below, and that will tell me that you want me to show the results of this. It's going to take another 8 minutes, it says. So I'm not going to sit here for another 8 minutes and go over the same stuff we've already gone over. Your time is so valuable. I do believe code is the great equalizer. That's why I share this information. Most people would say I'm crazy for sharing this much alpha, but I don't care. I'll keep making more videos. If you want to see the next part to this where I reveal the results of this, just let me know below. You have the full process now. You have all the code. From here, I'm just going to look at these results and tweak the backtest until it looks good. But don't tweak it too much, because then you're overfitting. So this is just a sample of the game, and you can be in 1, 2, 3 until you find something that's profitable. What's profitable has to be more profitable than buy and hold. The drawdown has to be lower. ROI has to be higher. That's about it. I'm super excited about this. Nature's been calling for about 45 minutes, so smash that like button because I held it. This is why algorithmic trade is, because you can't control when you got to do things or when you got to sleep or what market's popping off. My algos can look at all markets at all times. Again, my name is Moondev. I'm a fully algorithmic trader. I teach this stuff because I believe code is a great equalizer, and it's super hard to learn how to code if you're not interested in the thing you're learning how to code. If you're interested in the thing, which is growing crypto or automated trading, that's what got me to learn how to code fast. Oh, look at that. After all of this, we got an error. What a buzzkill. So maybe we shouldn't optimize first. Let's go ahead and put this error here in the... Oh, we didn't get an error. We got the results too. Perfect. So you can see the return is negative 36%. The buy and hold return is negative 29%. The volatility is 12%. It took 129 trades. The win rate was 35%. The best trade was 1.9%. The max drawdown was 40%. The equity final was 637. Exposure time, I like that. 19% of the time. I like that a lot. I like that exposure time a lot. Just 20% of the time. Best trade was this. Worst trade was this. It's testing these take profits here. There's a lot of stuff I want to build on this. I know it's not as profitable, or it's less profitable than buying and holding, but I think there's something to this strategy. So this, if you want to see part 2, that's where I'm going to play around with this strategy and this idea. I just want the grand idea. Mess around with it a bit. You can see the volume spikes. It tested all of those, but maybe I test some other things like the ATR. Next, let's put a to-do list. To do. Stop at the ATR. I got this error after printing out, after results, optimizing. Let's go ahead and put the results in there and the optimization. Got some warnings here. Put this into Chat GPT. I'm going to optimize, do it with less optimization. Do this with less optimization. Because I think that we'll be able to test our strategy a little more in depth there. But this is it. This is the whole process. And since we did not find a profitable strategy, we don't move on to 4, 5, and 6. No need to waste time. 1, 2, 3. We'll do this over and over again. And when this strategy looks profitable or a different strategy, we move on to 4, 5, 6. You now have the keys to the kingdom. Go crush it. I'll see you inside the Discord or the next vid.